Let me ask you a question. What makes a film a film? I'm not talking about cameras or projectors. I'm talking about what really makes film unique and separate from novels and plays and radio shows and photography. I know that's an incredibly broad question, but I feel like it's something we don't talk about enough when we talk about films. I want to show you one of the most subtle tools of what I'm now going to refer to as the language of cinema. You can tell a story with nothing but a character's face.
We didn't need dialogue. We had faces.
Raise your hand if you hate hearing the phrase, show, don't tell. Alright, you can put your hands down. I hate hearing it too, but it's absolutely true. Let's start off small. Think about a simple single emotion. Disappointment, for example. There's a very obvious reason why this doesn't work.
This isn't my world. Disappointed!
That reason is that no one does this. No one walks around and just flat out says what they're feeling. They show what they're feeling. You don't need an emotion to be explained because that defeats the purpose. If you show the emotion, the audience will understand and hopefully feel that emotion. Think about this. One of the reasons we don't need this
You will not take it from me!
is because we get it right here. This is by far the best scene in all of the Star Wars prequels. Not just because there's none of this,
Breaking my heart.
but because it's the only scene where the emotional core of the story feels real. You're not being spoon-fed, you're not being told what's going on, you're seeing it. And the actors' faces are doing all of the work. Let's go a little further than emotions. If The Graduate ended with the two characters turning to one another and literally saying, hey, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, it wouldn't be anywhere as effective and we wouldn't likely remember it. But we do remember it, because that is said, only it's not spoken. Their faces say it. Now I get it, who cares? Why is this so special? It's special because this kind of scene cannot effectively be done in anything but film. Think about it. A photograph is limited to exactly one point in time, and a stage production lacks the advantage of a close-up. You can't see a character's face in a book, and if this was on the radio, all you'd get is the sound of the engine. Again, their faces are telling the story. For my money, Steve McQueen, not this one, that one, is one of the best when it comes to this kind of subtle storytelling.
I mean, you know, when you're talking to someone, you'll often know when they're lying because we read faces. It's the same thing as I was speaking about as far as the dark is concerned, or, you know, things which are cast in darkness. You read it, but you see somebody and you can read in between the lines. We all can.
Take a look at this shot. It probably seems boring now, but when you've watched the 2 hours leading up to this point and have gone hand in hand with Solomon on his absolutely harrowing journey, you understand everything that this shot says.
I think with Solomon, it was very important that he had his face was sensitive to the moment, and we just kept on talking. I kept on showing him, you know, again Valentino and Keaton and how that connection, and that translates to an audience.
That said, my favorite example for McQueen is this. If you haven't seen this before, see how long it takes to figure out what's going on. Got it yet? They're flirting. Now keep watching. Here's the reason why this is my favorite example. This scene isn't just an ambiguous display of multiple emotions. No, it's a complete story, with a very clear beginning, middle, and end. Watch. We start with a simple meet cute as our two strangers eye one another. The story progresses as the guy remains persistent, and the woman begins to enjoy whatever wandering thoughts are dancing around in her head. And finally, guilt takes a hold of her, and she exits the scene. Probably because of that. Again, beginning, middle, and end. A complete packaged story where every beat is told by the actors' faces. Let me hammer it home just one final time. This kind of visual language is exclusive to the world of film, and I really wish that more filmmakers would take advantage of it. Now, I'm not saying that I need some kind of stare-down match between Cap and the Hulk, but then again, that'd probably be pretty cool.